So, recently in America here, we've had a big division among the people. And if I could say that I believe it to be anything at all, I believe that it is not necessarily an actual division, more that it's an issue with the fact that we've got a couple of different countries that are doing things to manipulate the way that our people think. And yes, you can sit there all day and you can say, oh, well, how stupid can anybody be? But the thing is there's a lot of really smart ways of doing these things to manipulate the mind, to re-educate, as they would call it. The movies you watch today versus, say, even just 10 years ago, even though even 10 years ago they had their agenda then that I'm sure they were implementing into these videos. But today, especially, it is so very obvious. I just watched a movie the other day. Oh, I want to think of the name, but it had a couple that literally hated guns, didn't want to pick up a gun because they statistically thought that they would shoot each other before the gun would do them any kind of justice. And you know, it just seems every movie that I watch or every show that I see, it always has some, low-lying narrative that they're trying to push, or, agenda, or whatever you want to say or call it. And lately, I'm sure I'm sure my thoughts are so similar to so many of you out there. The majority, absolutely the majority. And they're going to try to continually tell us that, we're not, or that, so many people hate the way that we think, but that's not the case. In fact, it's so far from the truth that I don't even know where to begin. Essentially, the only places, and even now, I'm starting to really consider and think that it might just be that they're just lying. And as everything else, the media is just pushing some other BS on us to believe that isn't true. And everything they say is a bull-faced lie. I mean, it's just utterly disgusting. And I can't believe, why is it these people are still on the TV? And anybody that still watches them, just turn them off. Just turn them off. Defund them. And then we've got, all these Democrats, the Democratic Party. I don't want to say Democrats because it's the Democrats that have been brainwashed in their head. They're just as much of a victim as you or I, if not more. Except we're only victims if we just sit back and let it happen. And as much as I love God and I trust in God and everything and what His plan is for us, there's also a point where you got to step up and you got to say, no more. No more. I'm not playing this way anymore. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to worry about it or anything like that, because I'm not going to worry about it. We're just going to do something about it. And from before day one of even the lockdowns, I've been predicting every single thing that's happened. I am utterly bewildered on the situation because it is so beyond my understanding of how anybody can fall for this. I just don't get it. I don't. I want to. I try. I watch both sides because I want to understand. I do. God honest truth. I love everybody and I don't judge any of you for the way you feel, because I know that you feel that way because you think you're doing the right thing. Except you're not, if you are supporting the Democratic side. In fact, you're supporting a side that wants to implement communism into America, which is doing it already through Marxism. And if you're not familiar with those things, then please go ahead and look them up. Whether or not you'll find the correct definition of them is whether, you're researching on a biased search engine, which Google actually is. Sadly, I wish I would have known that a long time ago, because then I would have put my efforts toward Yahoo or Bing, which are, from my understanding, not like Google. But now we've got them trying to force down our throat a fake election. An election where your loved ones, whether it's family, friends, whoever, okay, there is a generation upon generation of people that have gone to war and fought and died and left their family behind for people here so they could make sure that they would be safe. And now we've got the Democrats who are, the thing is, let me just take out Democrat or Republican altogether, because to be honest, I could give a flying what party you're with. I could care which one I'm with. I just classify with my beliefs, like what I think the way things should be. But the thing is I also see how the dominoes, which I've mentioned a million times, fall. And which dominoes are going to fall, if not at all, after, something takes place or whatever. So, you have something that happens, and whatever that issue is at hand, or whatever it is going on that takes place, it's going to cause repercussions, or it's going to cause other things to happen as a result of that decision. That is what I mean by the dominoes falling. You want to, in this, I'm not saying that, okay, you hear people all the time talk about, no, we shouldn't give out all these free things or whatever, but it has nothing to honestly do with that. What it has to do with is that the government takes advantage of our tax dollars. It's not what we want to do with those tax dollars. It's the fact that our government is too large and it goes through too many hands, the money that we give them. They hire on more people. For why? I don't know. Do you? Because I tell you that there is so many things, so many different hoops that you have to jump through that make absolutely no sense. That's a waste of your money. What is the reason for needing to do that? Yes, there is a ton of people in the world today. So yes, it's going to be really hard to track all this. And that's why more and more people are getting away with things, doing fraud or whatever. But let's just say if everybody was able to keep their money and put it towards what it was you want. Let's just say that instead of getting taxed time and time again, like on your paychecks at the end of the year, on top of everything you've already paid, plus everything you buy. Let's just say all the money you gave from your checks, and let's say all the money at the end of the year that you're also paying out. Let's say you get to keep that money, okay? And let's say that the taxes on the items you buy are what go to, what they're supposed to go to. For instance, like the gas tax, which is essentially supposed to go towards fixing the roads and the infrastructure in your state. Does it? Well, I don't know. You tell me. I mean, I'm sorry. I do know. But my question is that I'm trying to provoke out of you is it doesn't go towards any of the stuff that they try to push it towards or say that it's going to go to. So we don't like what these people are doing. We don't like the things, the locked in our homes, the laws that they're trying to implement that completely go against our constitutional rights. There's so much going on. There's, even fake posters being put out. We call them fake flags or false flags that are being put out to essentially instigate a big problem at the inauguration, which I'm really, really sorry, but I'm not sorry at all. You're not going to be inaugurated, bud. You're not going to be a president. We don't allow traitors to be president. And, Mr. Trump, you've been a great president, and all of us appreciate everything you've done. But, as much as you're telling us to, avoid violence, which we absolutely will, we don't want to ever hurt our, our troops. Gosh darn, no, those are our men. Those are our men and our women. Those are our people. And they're not yours. They're not your governments. You guys take them and you break them down and you build them up to be who you want them to be. But when it comes down to it, those people are still our people. They're still Americans, and they're still here for us. And I'm not saying that either that everybody's in the right or in the wrong. It doesn't matter who's in the right or wrong, or who's done a little bit wrong here, or whatever. That doesn't mess up our cause. Our cause is that we want freedom, that we want to maintain our rights and our choice to do as we please, as long as it's not hurting anybody else. And you know what? I'm sorry, but again, not sorry. I don't know why I keep saying that. This whole thing with the COVID thing, right? Okay, so from the very get-go, called BS on it because nothing matched up, nothing made sense. And now you've got this new strain that's out that's supposedly more like you can catch it. It's easier spread. Okay, so let me just give you my take on it. Before anybody talked about if you have COVID, you might end up with problems afterwards, like it might cause issues down the line in your health. Before any of that came out, I told Lou, I said, listen, I said, because this is, there's got to be something about this COVID thing, right? And I said, but I don't think it has anything to do with how bad it is right now. I said, I think it's a test. I think it's a test to see how well this particular strain spreads, how contagious it is. And I think if that isn't the reason, or even if it is, on top of that, then I also think that it's something that will cause issues down the line for Americans. Maybe it's because they want to wipe out population. Maybe it's for whatever reason they have. I don't know. I don't care, because, I just have my personal reasons for that. But, I can understand why, maybe they want to wipe out, population, especially, people that are living to an older age, that are literally sitting in hospice, dying, suffering, only alive because they're being kept alive. All I know is, please remember this video. If it ever comes down to it, don't ever keep me alive. If I'm supposed to be alive, the Lord, the higher power, God will see to that. And there's nothing you can do about that. Ever. Ever. You will never, ever, ever beat the Lord. Okay? So the interruption in our lives because of everything that the government's been doing, the government's here to work for us. So if you're not happy with how they're doing their jobs, I don't know. It would just seem to me that defund them? Yeah, sounds good. And not just American government, not just the big government that is too big for the britches, that needs to definitely get knocked down a peg, but worldwide, everywhere. China, the CCP, your regime, as you guys like to call yourselves, who's doing the Cold War, even though it used to be Russia's thing. But of course you guys can't come up with anything on your own. You just have to constantly steal from everybody else, steal their ideas, because, but at the same time, I'm not surprised, because with how happy your society is, stealing their organs, forcing their abortions, whatever else, making them disappear at the, when they say something that you don't like. Yeah, rise up, people. Take your country back. I am so fucking sick of this BS. And it's so simple. You don't need to be violent. You just got to say no. No more. And together you say no. No. Now, if they want to incite violence, you have to protect yourself. So get prepared, because they're not going to like being told no. But that's your first step. Say no. Just say no. No more. I love that people are so kind that you guys want to worry about each other's feelings. Okay. When does it come in, though? About them worrying for your feelings, or how, you respond to all this, how it affects you. Do you ever think about that? Do you know that the Lord actually doesn't want you praying for other people? He wants those other people praying for themselves. Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? Seems like something that would be bad or not the right thing to do, but it's not that at all. It's actually that God just wants everybody to love him, and it be their choice, not forced upon them, not because something wrong in their life or whatever. He wants them to need him, of course, but the thing is what I'm saying is, stop worrying so much about everybody else and take a second for yourself, and take a second to think about the fact that your choices now will affect everybody that comes after us. Your child, my child, their children, your grandchildren. Okay? Yeah, maybe, let's say you're one that doesn't feel affected. Okay? But let me tell you this much. Let's think about like this. You've got people that that's really irritating one for me and many around that live in really great areas, and then we have people move up to our areas that vote the way that they did in their areas where they moved from, because they hated how everything was around, because they didn't think about the dominoes that would fall after the domino they pushed over. They didn't think about all the repercussions from the one decision they made that they thought was wonderful and good for you. That's great. And that's great. I want people to be kind to each other. I want us to get along and all that, but you have to think in the long term. You can't just think about what is going on right now in front of your face. You have to think about what your decision is going to result in. That is the issue today that people don't get. And that's why there's so many issues. And that's, and everything that I say, I think of like 1,000 other things. So I'm sorry if I'm jumping like in areas where you're like not following, but let's just say that everything is so jacked up, and it's because of the decisions that are being made by people that have never lived a real life, have never lived in the real world. That is the problem. You've got, and this sounds offensive, I'm sure, to those people who are this way. For instance, there's a lot of, I just saw a thing on college students wanting to take away conservatives' diplomas. Do you know that it's the conservatives who mostly pay your way? Do you know it's the conservatives that literally are the backbone, and it's you guys writing off of us? Most of your farmers, conservatives. Most of your not, I don't want to call them cattle wranglers or ranchers. Your ranchers are conservative. All the people that work for a living and have real life experience are conservative. And you want to know why? Because they've seen what happens when you make these particular choices that Democrats like to push. And it all sounds great. Yeah, hey, I love free shit. Of course, who wouldn't? I mean, gosh, free. But who's paying for it though? I mean, free. Is it really free? And then not only that, but let's say, if you guys, okay, so, you know, we get a pick between whatever insurance company we want, right? Fabulous. But, wait, any insurance company we want that they've laid out for us. So they choose first, and then you get a pick from them. Okay. Now let's say, now these things are actually why monopolies were legalized, is because when you have a monopoly, you can raise the price to whatever you want, and there's nobody to compete with you, so people have to pay. Okay, well, when it comes to insurance, let's say health insurance by the government, let's think about all the people we pay before it even reaches, I don't know, before it even does anything at all. So, government health insurance. We've got to pay the people that set up the government health insurance, not the government health insurance people, but the people that work for the government that set us up with the insurance because you know you need them, right? So after that, we have to make sure that the phone company that we're using to do these phone calls is paid. We also have to pay for the electricity for those phones, and the I'm sure there's, you know, needing to be heat and stuff like that for these people to be able to work and all that. Let's see what else. You know, all of their wages, their medical, you know, all that stuff. Let's see what else. Oh, then, you know, whatever, I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff, because it's not just the people that are setting you up. It's everybody that works in that office. It's their managers, it's their, you know, whoever, temps, whoever, the people that come in to make sure the office can run in the first place. Let's see. Oh, then we have the actual insurance place that we got to pay too. Gosh, don't forget about them, the actual people that you would pay for this service. Oh my goodness, how could I be so foolish? So much fun. So all that extra money, and it's not just, you know, one person that you're paying. You're obviously paying a whole bunch of people because you got over 300 million people in America. You gotta make sure you can serve them all, right? Because everybody gets free insurance, right? Right? No? Oh, so you're telling me that those people that we thought we were helping don't want to help themselves, so we just have to keep paying it? Okay. Well, let's see. You know, let me go ahead and, since I think my point is pretty much made there, and that goes along with every single government program, and every single government program goes through so many hands. You're bound to have some, what do you call it? Corruption among them, stealing, you know, just some fraud going on. I'm sure there is among them all. I mean, think about it. How much money we pay. Like I said, again, we've got your paychecks, we've got the things you buy, and we've got the end of the year taxes at the very least. And you're telling me that after all that, we can't even get the roads fixed? I mean, seriously, people, is anybody seeing the same thing? Okay, so let me just, because I know I think of all these things and I want to talk about them, but then, like, I forget because there's so many of them and blah, 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 blah. So for a couple topics, just to cover basics here. Oh, funny. 15 minutes ago. More highly transmittable variant of CCP virus detected in 10 states, CDC. Well, CDC, what I hate is that, you guys fudge numbers along with any state that you guys are paying their people to do and work along with you, like you did with the voting. The ballots counted after everything was supposed to be closed down. And then you guys don't want to provide, you guys don't even want to work with us to prove that you didn't cheat, which we know you did. You don't even have to prove it. We know you did. You don't have a ballot sent to you as a mail-in ballot early after you specifically ask not to have it sent to you ever, and not to have a mail-in ballot at all either. And then you've also got a reprinted ballot also. And this is all in California. Then on top of that, the county is blue when it's never been blue, ever. I guess they knew they were going to lose that hard that they had to do that. And, okay, Trump's great. Like I said before, I love Trump. He's great. But you know what, Trump, if you're not just going to stick it out there in office, and we told you we would back you up, then we're just going to have to essentially not accept it and defund the government altogether, which we will do. Guaranteed. Because why not? You guys aren't doing a job we want you to do. You're not doing anything other than wasting our tax dollars in multiple ways. I mean, gosh, with that stimulus package, you guys wanted to give a bunch of money away to other countries. Who are you? You don't work for us. I mean, we hired you to, but you don't work for us. Pelosi, the shoemaker, or actually I call her Pinocchio Pelosi because she's a lion. Bitch. Then don't even get me started on Trader Joe and his buddy Obama. I mean, those people right there. I mean, it's not even Trader Joe, I'm sure, who is the actual big guy. It's Obama. Obama's the one that gave the grant of $3.7 million. And, honestly, who knows who's in on it? And why are we to even trust any of them anyways? We are the people. Why don't we just say, you know what? We'll do fine on our own. We'll elect, or we'll put our trust into somebody that we know around the area that we know cares about us. Do you know, personally, for me, personally, I would take it all on for free. And, that's essentially what Trump does too. He doesn't get paid for any of it. He donates his check. But I mean, like, I would do that. My same would do that. I'm just saying at any point in time, like, I just want to see people get what they deserve, whether that be good or bad. What you reap is what you sow, or what you sow is what you reap, however you want to put it. But there's so many things that could be done so differently that would save this country money. It would keep the people happy. It would structure our, our states with new roads and new buildings and new jobs and everything. And it's like, we've got these lockdowns going on, and yet we're keeping open the big box companies that pay their employees. They don't pay them for anything. So let's keep them open, right? Let's keep them open. Let's go ahead and cut the hours of the employees that work, but let's keep them open. But let's make sure that every small business that's paid all these, licensing fees and, certification or whatever it is, to run their businesses, let's make sure that they get shut down. That way we can have a whole new slew of new businesses coming in next year to also take their money when they shut down too, because that's how we like to work, right? Why do we have the government anymore? Why? What do they do? What do they do? I am truly, honestly Would love to know. And if any of them actually cared, they'd do it for nothing. They would do it for nothing because they love you and they love us, America. They love us all. They love being good and wanting to help and doing those things. Why can't we just be that way? If everybody was that way, then it would be so much easier for the few that are that way now to be that way. And we would all just be, we would have everything we would need. Everybody would be happy. We'd have more time with our families, more everything. We could garden on our own. We can produce our own food. We could, help each other build homes instead of taking all of our effort to invest in the false profit of $1 that's not even backed by gold anymore. You know that your dollar is not worth crap. Do you know that literally only you and I and anybody else that falls for their stupid little tricks are giving that dollar the power that it has? The people are giving those elected people the power that they have. The sad part is the people that are giving them the power don't realize it. And the people that are gaining the power from our trust, our loyalty, are taking advantage of it to an extent that will ruin us. It's just drives me So let's see, what other topics do we have today? More people would get $1,400 stimulus checks under Biden plan. What does that mean, more people? More illegals would get American tax dollars? Because, I don't want anybody to suffer. Ever. But when the American citizen is treated as less of a person than somebody who comes here illegally, that isn't right. That is not right. Not at all. And there's ways to do this so much better. But you've got such a big government that how could you not have corruption? How couldn't you? Let's see here. DOJ, DHS, Pentagon, watchdogs reviewing January 6th Capitol breach. Oh, I love the Capitol breach thing, how they're blaming the conservatives, the Republicans. And this is so sad that we're so divided right now, and not even for our own agendas, for some man you don't even know. Some man that's been in politics for 40 plus years that's never done a damn thing for you other than make sure that you essentially are worse off, because I don't see anything positive coming from any of it. Okay. And the the Capitol breach too. Let's get one thing clear here, and real clear. And let me just, imprint this, burn this into your brain. The people that breached the Capitol, that started that, were not Americans. They're Antifa. They're BLM, which are not, neither one are for any good thing for any human. There's no human rights or human activists with these people. These people are wrong. They're in it for something. In fact, they're probably being paid. In fact, I remember an interview with the young lady that came up with the whole BLM thing before it became what it is today, when it actually meant something. Yeah. They take all these rich, jerk-offs that don't give a damn about you or I, just give a damn about making another dollar. That doesn't even, tomorrow we could decide, hey, that dollar don't mean shit. But you know what? The corn you grow means a lot, because I can eat that. With that energy, I could build something. I could make something. I could get down a tree and, whatever. Point is, Stop falling for the false prophet. Stop killing yourself every day to earn $1. Take that time and stop worrying and stressing out over it, because the thing is, you're going to be okay. You just have to believe that. You have to believe that the Lord, in the end, everything's going to be fine. And it will. And again, if we all just worked with each other, and I'm not saying that, one does for one and the other just sits there and sits back and lets them. I'm saying we work with each other. We all put forth the effort together. I like to look at it this way, that you're a child of God. And how would God want me to treat you? And that is how I want to treat you. And it'd make it a lot easier if everybody did that, though. So, Capital 6 breach, again, false flag. And these people right here are trying to start things. They're probably being paid by the Democratic Party to insinuate these issues, violence, things like that, and because they want the government to implement laws to make sure they can keep you in your home, or they can control you more. But the thing is, what I keep trying my hardest to just really emphasize here is that these people don't rule you. They have for years worked on us to make us feel like that's our only option and our only choice and whatever, but that is not the case. You always have a choice. The only person, the only thing, the only one you answer to is nobody else. And anybody else that messes with you, they better be afraid, because God don't mess around. And I can definitely say that for sure, because fortunately, everybody that I've ever been messed over by, because literally I swear I'm like probably the nicest person ever. I just believe in what is right and true and good. And I believe in receiving that back too. I want everybody to be the same. As far as just that goes, I want y'all to be who you are, but I want people to love and be kind and be willing to give you a helping hand, not to wait to be asked. No, jump in there. And the thing is, and don't, and when you got things to do, don't just sit back and think about, oh, I got all these things to do, I don't want to do them, blah, blah, blah. Get up, just go do them. You're going to feel so much better after you get it done anyways. And then it's another thing to mark off your list. And you know what? I just really wish we could all just be more of a community together. I know everybody likes their private time, and that's great, and you should have your private time, but there's so much more we could do together. We don't need a government to rule over us. We need structure, and we need leadership. Don't get me wrong. I mean, gosh, that couldn't have been proved more true than it has been over this last year. But the thing is, a lot of that has been instigated. It's not even what's really happened. They do this on purpose to fool us, to, giving up our rights and things like that, because they know they can't take it from us. We have to give it to them. That's the power we have. And it feels good. But it's realizing that you have that power. That is the main agenda here. You have to realize you have such power. And together, we are unstoppable. And I'm not just talking about America. I'm talking about every single person in this world that believes in what is good, true, and right, and what will be prosperous among the world and make us better. Why not? Why should we be scared of, these, poor people that are having to deal directly with the regime, the CCP? Why should we ever have to go to bed afraid at night that we're going to be snatched up, or our child's going to be snatched up for their organs? Can you imagine living in that? And you people that voted for Biden, which I'm really starting to believe it was a lot less than even they're trying to make it out to be, even before the corruption that we know about. Because and the people that did too, I know you guys have been brainwashed, because there's no way in the world that you would literally vote for a man like this. And I'm not talking about his personality or what he says or the little, the women's hair he sniffs or the women he, I am talking about that this man is a traitor. He is a traitor to America. He is in collusion, guaranteed. And not like the kind of collusion that Obama did where he set it all up to make it look that way. No, I'm talking about real on 100% fully collusion with the CCP, Ukraine, and Russia. Now, again, I'm not talking about the people for sure, but I don't know about necessarily the governments. The regime is technically supposed to be like the Democratic Party. They have a republic now, but it sure really doesn't seem that way if you ask me. I just think we all need to get together across the world, all together, the whole world. Why not? If you know you're being done wrong, and unfortunately, yes, we're victims, but those people that have been totally brainwashed into these ideas that they think are right and will make things better, and the judgment that they put on other people, and just, I feel so bad for them. And, yes, I would love for things to change before more happens in their minds, but, that's going to take a lot, which I'm willing to do. And I hope that others would be beside those of us that are willing to step forward and put out there whatever is necessary to fix this. But you've got a lot of people that are brainwashed, a lot of people that have been re-educated, as also the PBS guy. I don't know if you saw that interview or not, really seems to like talking about for the Republican parents' children. Yeah, that really irked me pretty strongly there. Try it, bro. Because I will guarantee you will not be met with my child's hand. You will be met with something else. You probably won't be walking away. So, let's see here. I'm sure I skipped out on a bunch of things there, but oops. No. Let's go back. Okay. Okay, so now let's see here. Okay, so is this the Reichstag fire relived? Okay, relived now. Okay, and they're talking about not comparing Hitler and the Democrats. No, I'm sorry. No, it's exactly like that. And if you are wanting to not say it because you're afraid you're going to hurt somebody's feelings or it's going to be taken the wrong way. No. See, that's the problem. That's why we are exactly where we are today, is because we're afraid of hurting feelings and whatever. Get over it. And the people you get in your feelings are, get over it. Life's life. And it's going to happen whether you like it or not. And the problem is we've been too damn nice for too damn long. And that's why they think they can walk all over us. And that's why this is going to lead to more than it needs to be. So, stand up now. Let's stop it now before it gets too far. That's it. Do you know that Nancy Pelosi just put somebody in jail for only saying that, Nancy, you're going to go to jail? Is that where we're at now? That's where we're at now. You've got Trump being accused of inciting violence when literally, in fact, I just shared this video earlier. Let me go ahead and find that real quick. Trump's inciting violence. But, to me, I would say that this here looks a lot more like violence than any. Okay, here. Here's Blaze TV's debunks the media's lies about Trump's involvement in the Capitol. That wouldn't be a bad one to watch. But what I'm looking for is one talking about the inscenation of violence. Harvard students push to strip conservatives of diplomas. Ain't that cute? Well, we're really tired of dealing with you guys' crap, so from now on, we're not going to anymore. And that's the thing. That's how we have to play ball now, is you just say no. No. No, sorry, not gonna happen. Move on. Move on with your life. Tell them no and get going on with your life. Okay. Oh, here we go. Wait. Dang it. I think it might be on that other one, my other phone there. That's on there. You know what? I bet I can find it on YouTube, though. Or not YouTube, I'm sorry. I bet I can find it on my thing. Oh, here we go.
After 30 days,
okay.
I could not believe my before and after picture.
I want you to see here.
Literally rolled back
this is the left
show
side
you
violence.
The reason why my doctor yesterday was like, your blood pressure down, get your blood pressure down. I was like,
same here.
Okay. He's like, what can you do? Can you walk? And I'm like, yeah, I can. I'm walking already. And he's like, okay, what else? And I was like, I could never watch the news again. That might help.
It's an interesting proposal. I want to hear more.
I know. This is what has got my blood pressure going. Let me start with this. If you happen to be watching, I'll describe them if you're not watching, if you're just listening to us. But if you're watching, I want you to look up. Let's show, this is the one, refuse to be silenced. This is a protest poster. The largest armed protest ever to take place on American soil is scheduled for next week.
Smarter than that.
I cannot tell you how dangerous this is. This is the end of the republic.
And we're not going to fight against our own men. Are you kidding? We're not the left. We love our freaking army peeps. I mean, they're amazing.
It is over.
Sorry.
It is over.
But yeah.
Now, I saw this poster, I think, Monday, Tuesday, and what did I say, Stu?
You said it looked
trying
like
to set them against
communist art, basically. It does.
Funny.
It really does. I mean, it's got the red
the only
and
way that would
yellow
happen
colors,
is if
and
from
has
their
the style, the
brainwashing,
fonts.
they break them down and build them up to
And
who
I
they
said,
want.
anybody who's doing right wing, they don't have the art in the soul.
We're not talented enough.
We're not talented.
Yeah, we fucking do, but that's definitely not ours. But also, I want just to mention that our heroes that go overseas, that are prepared anytime here, waiting to protect us, they are not here to hurt us, but they will work. The people that have trained these men will, they've trained them to essentially, let's just say it's scary. Let's just say that I really, really hope that my credit is not too much to our soldiers, because I know that they're smart, they are good, they are everything that we want them to be. But I do know that there are people that are bad that oversee these men and could potentially influence them in a way that that's not what we want. And so to you, let me just, a little message to you all out there that do work for the government, who works for the people, not any party. You protect the people. You don't hurt them. You're not here to protect these party members, these elected officials, or these people that are keeping a seat warm because they can, because for some reason our law allows them to. That's why Drain the Swamp is such a popular hashtag, I guess I would say. but that's what makes it really hard, because you've got these people who literally, so many of them can't think for themselves anymore because they've been so brainwashed into a way of thinking that it's, you know, they're like robots, you know. They've got no feelings about things. These people have been broken down and built back up to be something completely different than who they are. And that's the thing that does worry me. That's the one thing that does worry me. And, you know, they've put so much effort into dividing families and dividing loved ones. And, you know, in that way we have no connection to each other. They are doing everything they can to ruin us. So, for you people that work for the government or state governments, and you're trying to enforce these laws of masks and people eating inside or outside and they're too close to each other or whatever it might be, what is wrong with you? You know, and I will compare the two, because it's damn comparable, and I don't care. I'm not trying to not hurt people's feelings, because I'm not that person, and I don't care, because I feel a certain way and I think a certain way, and be damned if I will change for you. So I like the videos I've watched where you've got police officers and you've got these health officials coming out and telling these people, you know, that they can't work or they need to shut down or whatever, or they're going to get fined. Okay. You're going to shut it down. Enough people down where you're not going to have a job, dude, because you know who pays your salary? Or did you forget? Yeah. I think that's enough said for that. But anyways, Hitler's people also were just doing their job. And, like the man that got put in jail recently, sounds like China to me, where he told Pelosi, you're going to jail. So he got put in jail. This has got to stop. And you government people that are just helping along, think about what you are doing. You are going too far. So, we the people, your bosses, are now choosing to defund you all. We will use our money that we are saving to protect ourselves in our own way. And you know why they don't try to stop us? Because they have to brainwash us into thinking their way. Because they know they can't stop you or I. They can't stop any of us. Together, we are so strong. We're strong individually, but together we're unstoppable. Okay.
Enough in art to do something like that. Right. Well, lo and behold, look what we found. An election night watch party from the left. It's exactly the same poster.
Yeah.
Somebody ripped this poster off. And the question is, why? Is this a person
Why?
that has helped start this and is fueling this, that doesn't think anyone will find that they ripped off the poster? They're not concerned about being sued, but nobody's going to find it? Is it somebody on the right that said, oh, no, they will find it, and so they'll think that people on the left started it? Or is it actually someone on the left that...
Or how about this? It doesn't matter, because we think for ourselves and we don't need a poster to determine what we are or aren't going to do. We're going to stand up for our rights. We're going to fight for our lives, and we're going to die for freedom if it comes down to it. How about that? How about this poster? Doesn't mean shit to us, because why would it? It's a poster. It's a piece of paper. Who cares? It's what you're taking from us that matters. You're not going to influence us to back down and let them just roll over us and run over us and continually break laws to screw us over consistently, constantly. No, you're not going to do that. We're going to continue to live our lives as we see fit, as we need to live our lives. We're going to defund the government because what are you guys doing for us other than causing us problems? And I hope to God all around the world they follow in line to defund their governments and live as the free citizens they deserve to be, because God gave you free will, and I'll be damned if I let a man of flesh take that from any of us. Believe that.
Is so arrogant they think that no
you're
one will
arrogant
find
for
the election
thinking-
night watch party poster? Or is it someone who is setting it up for another conspiracy theory? You see what I'm saying? There's no truth. You don't know the truth, and the truth will probably never be known.
You don't even know.
And Reichstag
We
fire,
know
it doesn't matter
already.
who started the fire. Doesn't matter. It happened when the Germans first took control.
Wait, which fire are we talking about? The one in Target? The what was it, Antifa or whatever group it was started? Or you want to blame that on the conservatives, the right? Because, you know, we're always out there doing crazy things, right? I'm not even sure the left is. I mean, literally every Democrat I talked to, except one, this whole time, this whole year, they have literally disowned being Democrats because they don't trust or believe in what the Democrat Party stands for anymore. And I don't blame them. And again, we all essentially want the same thing. We're just, the wording, we understand it the way we understand it. Like, literally, if we all sat down and discussed, and yes, we have the main line for, you know, what describes what we want. But if we got down to the nitty gritty and the details and we discussed exactly what that meant, I guarantee you we would all be on the same boat. I guarantee it.
And I am not comparing the Democrats to the Germans.
I am.
What I'm saying is this country
Sorry.
is on
Not.
a course that ended horribly for the Germans. They printed money. They had a party get
So,
into
money's
control
not worth
that
shit.
forced everyone
Money-
to
what
do
you make it
exactly
worth.
what they say. Within weeks, they controlled everything, all of the newspapers, all of the outliers. Anyone who disagreed with the Nazis was shut down violently. Their children were re-educated. Their children were turning in their parents because I don't think they're really with Hitler and this new Nazi movement. All of these things, we're on the road there. It doesn't mean it ends there. It just means get off this road.
Yeah, when you come to a split in the road and one of the roads leads to Naziville, don't say,
You know why? Or you know what you do to get off that road? You defund the government. They're not going to be able to work, right? If they don't have money to work. Oh, well, except for the money they're getting from banks or big tech or any of them. That'll be the money they get. But again, money is only worth what we make it worth. If I'd rather work for a piece of corn than $1, I guess that corn's worth more, isn't it? Or if I'd rather work for, I don't know, a service and trade for that service. I mean, literally, we've got such smart people in this world. And I guarantee you, they, I know, have to think along the same lines as, and the only reason we all go along with it is because it's like, okay, well, everybody else is going along with it. So if I'm the only one not to go along with it, how am I going to survive? That's where I'm getting at right here. That's where we all jump on this same train and we take it forward and we stop the corruption today. There's an easy way of doing it to start with. And if it goes from there, then we'll handle it from there. But for now, let's start with something easy. Smart. Let's work smarter, not harder, right?
let's take a few steps down that road. That's not a good argument.
So
In a few years, Amazon may no longer be the biggest e-commerce site.
Yeah, the
Because
other
the
big,
largest
the other
retailer-
big box one, Walmart, from China.
everything that I
Spice
have said in the last week, as this show has come on, I have prayed harder than I ever have
Come
on the
guys,
show.
get to the point here.
And what I'm supposed to say to you. And I am overwhelmed with prepare for tough times. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
And what, I mean, if the proof of that, the fact that these other sites that are trying to take up the social media from the Facebook and stuff like that, that they're literally being kicked off of these app download, Google app download and Apple store downloads, and they're literally taking them off these sites so people can't download them because they say they're inciting violence. What, just like Trump did? just like the left did, which this is about to get to, which I can't wait for you guys to see, because that's just, I mean, I've seen this before, this video, but it's just bewildering how they can literally say, don't dig that hole. Yeah, I know I dug the hole, but don't you dare dig that hole, or you're going to go to jail. You're going to get, punished in whatever way we see fit. So don't you dare dig that hole that we also dug.
We are in these days. Make sure your family and everything is secure. Don't get involved in a national political movement, especially right now.
Gosh darn you, guy. This isn't a national political movement. This is a movement of the people in our freedom and our rights that are stolen away from us every day. This man is put in jail because he said something Pelosi didn't like. This is, if I haven't heard of something as close to the way China is than this, I mean, we might as well just call ourselves second China at this point. No. Sorry, Biden. Not sorry. You're not getting in office, and you will never be in office because you're a damn traitor to our country. And you know what? Again, the government's been too big. They've been too big. Defund them.
Now, the problem is not politics, it's the heart. And that's a strategic move. These rallies, you want to do something next week for a rally? Rally your church.
It wasn't.
And pray for protection.
Wasn't even us.
Of the
Wasn't even
outgoing
Republicans.
president, the incoming president.
There is no
and
incoming
people
president.
on all sides. Pray.
I'm not even
for
sure
peace.
how I feel about any of it anymore. I just know how I feel about the people.
I am so
How
concerned.
I feel about what we deserve and what we have the right to, and what our forefathers fought for, what we fight for
I have
today,
reason,
every day. Freedom is not
spiritual
free.
reason to be concerned. I am so concerned about nervous,
This guy's pissing me off. I just want to see the fucking video.
violent.
Yeah, shut up, dude. We don't
Rats
care. We're
over the
over it.
summer.
We're not putting up with your shit.
Rats over the summer.
We're done putting up with it. We're done. We're not asking anymore. We're taking our country back. We're taking our freedom back. You can do it the easy way and hand it over, or we can do this the hard way. But we're not going by your way anymore.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
And maybe that's why they're getting so far and we're not. Because they're just doing. And we're just sitting back letting them. And listening to idiots like this guy telling us, don't go do this, don't go do that. No, dude. Okay, that's fine. We're not. But we're also not going to let it happen or go on. We're not going to allow it anymore. So when it comes at us like that, we're just going to say no. And we're going to think of the ways to put them out where it hurts them. You don't get a worker. We work for each other. You, I, the people that are for what is good and right and the justice to our lives, the freedom that we deserve that was given to us by the Lord Almighty, by the higher power in our lives, the one and only. He will damn you. And if you haven't already been damned, now it will start. God doesn't let things like this just go. It's not going to be just let go. And you and I are not just going to let it go anymore. Right?
the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said,
And we're fighting for these people. We're fighting for them. No. We need to change that. We need to fight for each other. For you, for me, for the next generation, for the people that don't have a voice. That's who we fight for, not politics. We fight for the freedom that's been fought for years and years and years. We're not letting that go. We're not letting it go.
Your wife?
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
Such drama.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation.
But you don't see them in jail, right? I guess because they were Democrats talking? Was that what? I don't know. It just seems a little...
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels. That this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Wow. Wow.
Please tell me how that's not inciting violence.
All that together is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. Wow. Okay, so here we go. Minimum wage mandate in Biden's pandemic relief bill estimate to wipe out 1.3 million jobs. I think, it's interesting because we had already done this before, and everybody that did, they was accustomed to it or got it or whatever, they all got their hours cut, essentially making less than what they already were making. So cool. And the big box companies that are creating so many jobs, so many $10 an hour paying jobs, so many crap jobs. I know from experience that, and just knowing people that the jobs that have ever been larger companies or whatever compared to the family-ran companies are massive differences. They pay so much more. They treat the people so much better than any corporate business or whatever. Just wow. Let's see, another one. Pentagon chief, U.S. troops in Iraq, Afghanistan reduced to 2,500. There's actually more in the capital right now than there is here to fight their own people. I know they don't want to be there. And have you seen the way that these people, our heroes, are being treated in this? They have no beds to sleep on. They're on the ground like dogs. I mean, and not to say that, like, that is not even really the right annihilation, but you get what my point is. They're being treated like scum, like beaten dogs. Let's put it that way. Oh my gosh. It just disgusts me. The way they treat our troops, it just disgusts me. These people put their lives on hold, their lives on the line. They give up so much to do this. And this is the treatment they get. And gosh, it's still better than the way they'll be treated when they're out of the army. And, you know, another thing that, you know, Trump was such a bad guy, right? Except he's the one guy that did more than any other has before for our veterans. Okay. But again, I'm not here to discuss politics with you. I'm not here to influence you to like Trump. I am here to influence you in the direction that you have, which is to understand that you have a choice always. You don't have to give up. You don't have to sit on the sidelines or take it. You can say no. And the more of you that say no, no more, you're not doing this to us anymore, then the more power we have back, the more power we gain back. And that's what they don't want us to have. They don't want us to realize that. That is why they're censoring us. They don't want us to be connected to each other. So what do? Do we get our own website that you won't be able to find unless you have a link for it? Will you even receive an email if I was to find everybody's email and send you links? Would you even get it? They can do so much. They have so much power. These big tech companies, too much power. It's a monopoly of power, not money, power. America is following a path to Marxism, warns Pastor Christian Ionescu. That one's a video. It's no longer, oh wait, no, it is posted still. 39 minutes.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, when it comes to the lockdowns around the CCP virus, this COVID-19 virus, one thing we're seeing is that the constitutional rights many people have are being stomped on. Some of the people try to justify this, but we see double standards with it.
Oops.
Well, one of the big arguments right now in society is whether the closing of churches should be allowed. When, for example, going to big stores and so on is allowed. Now we have with us Chris.
Okay, so the reason why they are trying to close the churches down, again, say no. Go to your church. Go to your church. Just say no. They try to stop you. Stick together as hard as you can. Don't you dare back down. It will be them that must incite the violence before we stop or get pushed back any further. No more. We won't throw the first punch, but don't come at us. Don't tread on us.
Christian Ionescu, who is an immigrant from Romania and who escaped communist suppression there. He's a pastor in Chicago. And he's here to talk to us about what we're seeing right now and what he saw in Romania, really along the same lines, and how that turned out. Hey, Christian, it's real great having you on.
Thank you for having me.
Now, just briefly, what is happening in Chicago right now? Of course, you're a pastor there. What's been happening?
For the last few months, I think everything was kind of quiet because after we've reopened the church and we had quite a struggle for a while, the governor had relaxed all the regulations against church meetings, and but we still have a court case pending. When they sent the police to the church and blocked the parking lot, a privately owned parking lot that we had an arrangement with a bank for the last 18 years. And we would pay every month to use that parking lot. They've sent the police next week, and they gave us citations.
Did I mention that banks and other places are literally not serving conservatives anymore? They will not allow them to bank there. There's other things too that are going on where they're not servicing conservatives, like that thing earlier about taking away the diplomas of conservatives. People, if you're not awake, why not?
For disorderly conduct and mob action, because they didn't have anything else for us in their paperwork. They couldn't say church services there. But we still have a court case. It had been delayed month to month. We're going to be up.
Again, oh, you got a court date? You know what I say? Your court date. Do you? Just say no. Go have your church sessions. And you know what? Let God rain fire down upon them when they step foot on the front door again. Because I swear to goodness gracious, Lord Almighty, you don't. You don't. You can take everything, but you will never take God from us. You.
In February. We also have another case against the governor. Our church, along with Logos Baptist Ministries, went to court, and we went through the process. We are up for a Supreme Court hearing, and we'll see what's going on. But for the last few months, they pretty much left us alone.
Now, I understand
left you alone?
Challenging this.
Left
Is
you
this
alone?
Because you...
No. Not left you alone. You say, fuck you, man. You don't let these people just contradict your life. You don't let them rule you. Take your damn freedoms back. Stand up to these people. Stand together. Stop your division because you like some politician or whatever. I will... No. This is about you and about me and about the future to come for us. Stop it now. Stop it in its tracks before it goes so far that we're actually fighting, because it will come to that. Stop it now.
Witnessed these same policies in the past, and I know some of your story on this. Is the reason you're challenging this because of that, or is there something more to it?
Progressivism and liberalism is a fight for the conscience of the people. It is an ideological war. And even though they say they're atheistic or agnostics, it's a religious war. Their biggest obstacle to achieving their desires to completely control the society, their biggest obstacle is the church, is religion. So it's a fight for the conscience of the people. And in Romania, it took them a few years to get rid of private property. It took them even longer to take away lands from the peasants. But the war against religion was relentless up to the point of the revolution in 1989. So communism, socialism, progressivism cannot coexist with authentic religion, doctrines, and especially Christianity, Judeo-Christian values.
I want to talk to you more about that, but first, I'm interested in hearing your story. What actually happened in Romania? What did you see personally when it came to, I think it was Ceausescu trying to eliminate religion?
Ceausescu was just a representative of a system. Whether it be him or anybody else, the system is the same. And obviously, communism came to Romania when my parents were children. I've talked to a lot of people in Romania, older people, and I asked them, how come you accepted communism?
Brainwashed.
And something struck me at that time, because I was an adolescent, a teenager, and they said to me, we never accepted communism. It was imposed upon us by force. And there are many similarities between Romania of 1945, let's say, and America of today, because Romania in the 20s and 30s, before the Second World War, was a very prosperous country. Monarchy was super successful in Romania at that time. The affluence of the people, the culture and everything went through the roof, broke every ceiling in the Romanian culture at that time. And the Communist Party only had under 1,000 members before they were imposed in power by the Soviet army. So it took force to impose it. Now in America, you see that they took over the education system, the media, and all these trigger points of society. Talking about Romania, I was born in that system. So all I knew was the repression, the oppression, the force, and we are heading towards that, and we can see the signs. Per their philosophy, Marxism cannot take over a society other than by force and deceiving. And we see this in America right now. True intellectualism is oppressed in America. We have a pseudo-intellectualism in America. True prosperity in America is made to be greedy and exploitation. And it happened the same in Romania. But it took less in Romania to do that because of the Soviet army occupation. In America, it has to be done in a way where the younger generation is covertly assimilated into that kind of thinking, and it happened for the last few decades.
Yeah.
And so in Romania, you saw this done by force. Of course, the Soviet army technically invading and backing the Communist Party there. In America, you're saying that it's through the basically control of institutions. Ironically, a lot of the big corporations, media institutions, and people who have been educated with this Marxist worldview pushing these things through these institutions.
Schools.
Is this accurate?
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. And their appeal, and by what I say, I'm talking about what happened in Romania and what I see happening in America right now. When you condition a society to collectively think in terms of surviving, desperate for survival, you will get them to accept anything. This is the reason This is the reason why right now it is so important that we are here for each other. Okay? This is why it is so important to show that we don't need this government that we built, that you built, that our fathers before us built, our mothers, fathers before us built. Don't let that go because of some man lying to us, because of tons of people lying to us, not just some man. If you like Biden or you like Trump or whoever, it doesn't matter. Don't listen to them. What is right in your mind? What is right? What would God want you to do right now? Would he want you to sit back and just let this take over us? And sit back where they are stopping our churches, they're in our schools, they're teaching our children that the way to have birth control is to do it in the butt. You little girl, 11 years old, is that what you want her being taught? That's the birth control. The birth control that might cause you cancer in your anus years from now is your birth control today. Instead of teaching them that they actually have a cycle they can follow and prevent pregnancy naturally, or take birth control.
It's your choice. But that's the point. It's your choice now. It won't be, though. If you roll over and you let these people continue walking over you and you keep following in line because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or you don't want to deal with the, BS that might come of it. You want to know why you got to deal with BS now because of it? Because for too long it's already been let go. It's already been let to go too far. So stop it now. I know I'll stand with you. And I know anybody I know will stand up with you too. But will you stand up with us is the question. Before it's too late. Defund the government is the first step. Take them out. Easy. They don't have money to work for. They're not going to do it. They're going to continue to be able to work probably because of the donations they'll get from big tech or, banks that literally are holding our money. But what value does money have if it doesn't do anything for you? I mean, literally, can you eat money? No. But I know, there's a lot of things that go on where people trade work for food or whatever it is that they need. They trade for it. And considering the internet nowadays, which I know that there's ways that we could take back, the freedom of the internet. I mean, we've got plenty of smart people on our side, but the thing is, a lot of these people are working for the false prophet. And I call money the false prophet because what does it really do for us other than cause more problems, greed? People literally do anything for money. But what does it lead to? How does it even make you feel after you do it? And the thing is, if it does come down to it and these people that have made these mistakes decide to get on the right track, don't condemn them for their choices. Accept them for who they are now. And let's run with it. Let's help each other get back on top where we deserve to be, where it is our damn right to be, where we can live freely and not be censored or condemned for our thoughts or the way we personally want to live. We don't try to push our ways onto other people, but they're trying to push this on us. Don't let it continue. Don't let it continue. You don't have to go out there and massacre a bunch of people. You just have to say no. No more. You are not contradicting what I do anymore. And you're not going to persuade it either because of your cash, your piece of paper that says it's worth something. But it's only worth what it says because we say it's worth that, or it's worth that. Do you see what I'm getting at here? We hold the power, every last little bit of it. But they've done everything to convince you that you don't have it. And I'm telling you, you do. I know you do. I know I do. We all do. But will you take that power and will you put it towards something good? That's where we land.
Government imposes something and mandates something, I'm very suspicious. Because in Romania, they would say the whole country should accept this and should accept that. And it was for the common good. But a government should be able in a democracy to convince people to accept something, not mandate it. This is the difference between totalitarianism and democracy. And what I see in America right now, even with this pandemic, and not only that, it is a rush to impose mandates. And
I always find it really funny how they really tiptoe around this whole pandemic thing because they don't want to insult anybody when they talk about how big of a hoax it is. Because, yeah. Anyways, it's just really funny. But let's just get it out there. It's a hoax. And if you don't think it is, that's fine. But don't let your decisions that you make today, because you are being fooled, be so detrimental that they affect us for years to come. Okay? Don't let them fool you. Stop letting them fool you. In fact, ask yourself, why would they want this? Why? Power, money, lapdogs.
When people fight for their own survival and are desperate to survive, and they've exploited that in Romania and in every country conquered by socialism, progressivism, and communism, because they're sister ideologies. I see it in America. Desperation for survival, and they exploit that.
Now, how did this play
All we
out
have to
in
do is be there
Romania
for each
when
other.
it came to the religious persecution?
And want to work for what we need, of course.
They've infiltrated the church. We had a lot of pastors that were not true believers. We had all our institutions, educational, evangelistic, missionary, were infiltrated. Some of the pastors were sabotaged, eliminated when they didn't cooperate. If they cooperated, they had some advantages and privileges.
Okay, but if nobody cooperates, if everybody just says no, then they're not going to influence anybody. They're going to go from the next to the next to the next. Go ahead, do it your worst to me, fine. But then again, the people that are even asking them to do this in the first place are probably being paid. But if they've got nothing to use that money for because that money has no power, then I guess getting paid to do the wrong thing isn't going to be the thing to do anymore, right? So, defund the government, stop giving the money power, stop giving the false prophet power, start helping out each other, start helping yourself out. Don't be lazy. Be excited for life. And that's the thing, we've gotten so deep into this cycle that they've got us on this hamster wheel that we're all searching for something that isn't there because they've taken it from us. But we can get it back. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing good is easy. But it can be if we just get on the right track to making that happen, to changing things. We don't need all this craziness, and so many of us can just do so much better putting our efforts towards things that really matter instead of lining the pockets of these politicians by letting them pass the bills that control us and not even letting them. They just do it. Like in January 2019, when they try to push through the Green New Deal, which literally is freaking socialism in a pretty package wrapped up that has all these nice words that make you think totally something different than what it really is. Oh my gosh, my only desire is that people will understand this and see what is possible. See what is possible after you take away. Yes, it might be a little hard for a little bit, but it's going to be a little hard for a little bit versus hard for the rest of our lives because we've let communism overtake us. Stop listening to other people that, are trying to influence you to just let it go. Don't let it go. That's the problem. We've let things go. And another reason a lot of times people let things go is because they're tired. Well, why are we so tired? Because we're working so hard to make sure that the government's happy, right? That we keep the government happy so that it can't get us. They can't take our houses away or our, dock money out of our paychecks so that way we can, continue to pay them more with whatever's left. I mean, does nobody see this vicious cycle that we're in? Or do you just not see a way to stop it? I will tell you, together, it can end and be resolved so easily. But we have to do it together. We don't need a president. We don't need one. We can do this ourselves. We need leadership, but not really. We just need really somebody to let us all know what everybody, let's decide. Let's have somebody that, not instructs, but, what's the word? Organizes it, organizes the ideas of everyone and makes it for all, not just for one half of the country or the other. I mean, why shouldn't we be able to live the way we want? Why should we be so affected because somebody else's beliefs and their beliefs of people that have been brainwashed, the people that have been re-educated, whatever you want to call it? They are not thinking clearly, or they are not thinking with an educated, they don't have the material, they don't have the knowledge to make the right decision.
And what I've seen in America from a religious standpoint, and obviously I came here in 1987, but I've been an avid reader of history and recent history, and in religious terms also. I've seen the infiltration of colleges and seminaries of theological orientation. And you had the counter-revolution in the 70s in the Southern Baptist Convention, which was 17, 18 million strong, where they purged the seminaries and the educational institutions of secular professors and teachers. But the fight continued for about 30, 40 years, and now they've fallen back into a progressive and secularist ideology in religious seminaries. We see a lot of churches led by progressive pastors, liberal pastors, and they've infiltrated traditional denominations. And it happened the same in Romania, to the point where the dissidents could be singled out, isolated, and in the end eliminated. And we're seeing this in America, going towards that in America right now.
This is very interesting. There's a book by a Romanian high-ranking general who defected to the West, Ion Mihai Pacepa, called Disinformation. And he details how under Ceausescu, he, of course, carried out these operations to infiltrate the churches, and how they replicated that system to target the United States, including, for example, targeting the World Council of Churches, other groups like this, that he himself, as...
Yes, actually, speaking of that, Kennedy, 3 days before he was shot, made a speech or mentioned exactly this, about how there is a conspiracy against, I don't know if you call it a conspiracy, it's truth. So, against Americans, that they are coming after us. They're coming after our freedoms. Essentially, everything they're doing now. But this has started for a while. That's why the beliefs of some, like younger children, they're uneducated when it comes to, life in general, the way dominoes fall and which way it's going to go, because what domino fell and blah, blah, blah. I mean, they don't see past the next domino. They don't see a year down the line, or even 6 months down the line, or even 3 months down the line. Like, it's wild. There's just too much going on. Just too much. They created a feeling that we don't have an option, that we only can choose between the options that they provide to us. But I'm sorry, but no choice, no bad choice is a choice. A bad choice is no choice at all. Period. And you don't have to accept any of it. This is your country. This is your life. This is us. This is the United States. And we're here to help each other, not hurt each other. And we're not here to be walked on. We're here to not ever let those whose blood was shed to make sure you can say what you want to say. We're not here to let that be in vain. We're not going to let that go just because you say so. No. Never. Absolutely not. We're here for each other. But they've altered things, and that's the thing. They've altered things over the years, and now it's their time to strike because they've got it all figured out just perfectly. They've got us all thinking exactly how they want us to think, so they can come in here and just take it away. Anyways, I need to go, but wait, long video. But I just really, 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 really want everyone to just stand up, stand together. We're stronger together. And they cannot take it if you don't give it to them. If there are people that feel a certain way about something or whatever, they have been brainwashed. They are victims as much, if not more than we are to this whole thing. Try your best to educate them. Try your best not to put them on the defense when you are sharing the facts with them. I am finding, though, a lot of people don't even watch or not even willing to look at. And I don't know why. I like to watch both sides because I want to see what I'm trying to understand them, why they think the way they do. But the only thing that I am getting from it all is that these people have been brainwashed. They have been formed into a person that desires drama, that feeds off of it, that if they don't get it, they have to create it themselves. We've got a lot of work to do, to undo, but we can do it together. And if we don't do it now, it will only be harder. So I'm going to end this here. I'll put a link for this in there so you guys, if you want to finish that up. But God bless. We don't need a president. We don't need a government. We just need each other and God. That's it. We don't need a dollar that's been reprinted because they want to just keep shutting us down and keep, making sure that we're relying on them, that we need their dollar, right? No, we don't need the government. We need each other. We need the Lord and we need each other. And that is it. That is it. We are the ones that make this country. We are the power. You don't see them out there doing the farming, raising the cattle, working the land. You don't see them out there building the things or coming up with the ideas like Elon Musk, for instance, who is just brilliant, and any of his people that have worked with him to make, his success, legendary. And hey, say you were fooled by them. Fine. But just move on with it. Forgive each other. It's nothing to forgive anyways. You were a victim of these people. So just know that we are here for you. And I hope you will be here for us too. Because in the long run, that's the only thing that's going to save us. So, God bless. Go America. Whoop whoop. Go world. Go freedom. Go patriots. Let's make sure we stick it out and stick it hard to them. All right. Toodles for now.